Hey everyone, another vlog this week. So this could either be filmed weeks ago or months ago, depending on when it was filmed. But now I'm here in Hungary during my mission trip with my dad, and I have a very dear friend who also happens to be the camp director here at Word of Life. Adam, who is one of, four of us. We're the bros. No, we really enjoy working with him, and so I thought it'd be awesome to bring his testimony and really what his job is and everything that he envisions here. So, Adam, you can start out with, how you got here, and just how God has used you to lead to this point.
Whew. That's a long story, but okay. I was 6 when I came here as a camper.
Oh,
so yeah, I just came here, for the soccer field, what we saw in the video, and the water slide. That's why we came to the camp. Not for the Bible hours, but actually, I came back 3 times after each other, and it was the 3rd time. I was 9 years old when I got saved here.
Oh, that's awesome.
As a camper, and then I couldn't wait to be 16, to be a volunteer, to be a counselor, to be with the campers, and then after that I just wanted to be a Bible school student. There was a year what I did in college after I graduated from high school, but then God worked the things in a way and in my parents' heart that they supported me in starting the Bible Institute here. So I was a student for 2 years, an intern, and how I became the director, this video says, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I was 17 when I told the Lord here at a missions conference that here's my life and just use it how you want. I'm ready to go wherever or stay or do dishes my whole life or do whatever you want me to do, and now that's what happened.
Yeah, that's really really cool because we talk about it here, and if you remember Donnie's interview, very similar. You learn about how to become, I would say, even not just a Christian, but how to become a Christian man and how to develop yourself, not only at camp, but when you go to the Bible Institute. And it seems like they're the same story over and over again here, with every kind of volunteer or Bible school student or even the leadership team. It all had this similar story of I came to camp, I was a camper, I volunteered, and now I went to Bible school, and now I'm here.
Yeah.
And I think, but I do think another thing that's interesting about Adam that's really cool is, you're a young guy.
I'm 24.
Yeah, so you're 24, and and a lot of you, especially, you guys that are at Cedarville, how many 24 leaders do we have at school? And we don't, but it's so cool to see God using, you, Donnie, Mishi, and all you guys to just, really spread God's word and God's and the testimony of what God's done in your life. So that's really cool. And I want to transition that into another point. And what would you say is the one thing that not only kept you coming back, but has now, kind of evolved in you really leading this camp and really kind of, in that way, being a leader?
What made me want to serve here, for sure, was that I saw that this works. And don't misunderstand me, but I see camp as a great tool to reach young people. Just take them out from their everyday things. City kids come to a park like this. They have sports. They have many great things, games and things like this, which break down the walls in them, what they have. Because of their family situation, their school things, or whatever it is that build up in them against God. Because you don't learn about God like in school or many times at home either. And then here with the craziness, with a lot of activities, crazy American coaches, we try to destroy those walls and then tell the gospel to them, and they understand it, and many get saved, or those who are saved dedicate their lives to Christ. That's our slogan for this year. Like the motto what we use, that every camper one step closer to Jesus.
And then that's really cool. And I think you being the camp director, I wanted to know what are the plans for camp here in the next few years, and what do you envision for the camp in the next few years? But then also, where do you envision yourself, and where would you like to be? If God willing, in the next few years.
You see, it's interesting. I would have never imagined myself to be the camp director one day, but now as I'm thinking and I talk to some people, and I really see that it's important that people who are in youth ministry would be consistent and reliable, and they would, those campers who come back year after year would meet you, and they grow up here, but in a way they also see that, okay, these guys talked about this 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and they really live this out. So that's our goal, I think, with our team being so young. Mishi, Donnie, and we could list a bunch of other guys who we are friends. We do this camp, but we want to do this for how long we can. And you mentioned plans. We know we have a lot of things to improve in. One very important is discipling. And to make disciples, and the whole year long kind of discipling. Because I know I was a camper. I remember I came here to the camp. I had no youth group in the area or good fellowship, and this was kind of the high point, the best week of the year spiritually and other ways too. And then I went home and it was like a little downhill. And we are working on different ways how we could make that stop and make fellowship and Christian community available to our campers, direct them to local churches, go to the local churches where they don't have this, where we can help throughout the whole year. So that's a big challenge what we have, but a good goal also to work for.
And so with that, where do you see yourselves wanting to be the camp director for a long time, or as long as God allows it, or do you have that next step you would like to embark on?
I would love to, for sure, study more. And just to make it also able. It would be. So Word of Life Hungary ministry is not just the camp. We have a Bible Institute during the year. We have about 80 students from 15, 17 different countries each year. They come from all over the world to study the Word of God, and I would like to be available as a teacher in there. Awesome. This year I had the chance to teach a course together with someone else. It was on youth ministry and Christian camping, and I enjoyed doing that. It was fun, and I think it was good for the students too. But I would like to be more equipped in this, So we'll see, because I see the need for teachers. We have big need for translators. Everything is in English and Hungarian in our school. Now I could teach both languages. We could do that, and we need resident professors. So same way I'm available, but also I see myself doing camp until God really clearly says, okay, do something else.
And that's awesome, and I think it's really cool to see how God's working in your life. But also another thing, I think, especially being the camp director, me and my dad being Americans, why do you think, and I guess the real reason is why should Americans come and help out at this camp? And I'm talking about not just elderly or young families, but like college age students or high schoolers that I've learned you have a huge impact on these, on not only just the campers but the staff, the volunteer staff itself. So why should Americans come and help?
Well, you are different, guys. In a good way. I mean, you get it from everywhere. Americans, you are different. But really, there's something. Just someone comes here, 13, 14 years old, never met anyone, maybe even outside of Hungary, or not someone from this far, from this different culture, and we always say, oh guys, you are Americans, so just be like you are. But really, I see campers open up easier, make relationships, even they don't speak the language maybe, but want to be around you guys, and when they hear your testimonies or hear what God did in your life, they really pay attention. I remember I was 10 years old, and we had a soccer coach from the United States, And I remember he came to our dorm, and I couldn't wait to hear whatever he had to say to us.
Yeah.
And then he was in my mind this American great person. He was about 20 some years old, you know, but he was special, and I think that's why it's also important that everyone who comes here wouldn't just look at this ministry as, oh, I'm going to coach basketball because I'm good at that, or teach English because, well, I know English, but to be available and to be open to be used by God wherever, because again, just that you're special, guys, and for the Hungarian campers and for the volunteers, it's very different. Also, there's one more thing I have to say. The energy what Americans bring many times. It's also one thing that all our volunteers are working, our staff, 8 weeks. Now the Americans, you know, come here 1 week, maybe 2 weeks. But it's a refreshment, a help in having, you know, this different energy, different more strength, or you know, whatever, because you're coming and going. But it's a blessing to have you here.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And I know for my 5 years now, you know, just completed the 5th year, like that, it honestly is. I think you learn more too. I think Americans that come over, I've learned more about myself and challenging myself and stretching myself, and that's huge. And so
that's what God does, you know, when you do any kind of ministry. But yeah,
and I really think that's huge. So if anybody wants to know more about the ministry, I'll put in the link in the description. I'll put not only Word of Life website, but the camp and any other videos. I might put it down there. But to finish up, I really want to know, you know, what can everyone be praying for you about ministry wise, and also just for the camp itself.
Well, first of all, pray that we could make those plans what I told you about happen. That we could disciple these kids who get saved here, who are, you know, newborn believers, and we could be in their youth groups, or we could find them great communities where they are now, and that this wouldn't be just a week of awesomeness in and then 51 week of nothing with God. That this would be a life-changing place for them, and also, we are looking to start different locations, different camps. Our plan for next year is to have actually 5 like satellite camps in the country, in places where kids could not come from, but to partner with the local churches and have some camp there. We are looking for volunteers in those camps too. So that's also something what you can pray for, and pray for more people, because we always, there's, you know, in the Bible Jesus says that how is it in English? The harvest is great, but there are not enough workers.
Yeah, like,
that's always true. So
you always need more, and you never can have enough. You know, but I appreciate Adam's just heart, not just his, but everyone that works here. And if you know me, you know my passion for this place. But I wanted you to get a little insight on not only, you know, what the camp's about, but the leaders that run this camp, and hopefully that you can look and say, you know, it's not just, you know, Ben and his dad going and just helping out some friends. Like, we're going because of what this ministry does for the testimony of Jesus Christ. And I've always believed that if you can reach one more person, then that person can reach another person, and that person can reach another person, and you can create this train that just can keep rolling, and with God's glory in the front of it. So again, Adam, thank you for taking some time out of your day, and I really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.